Yo, what's good everyone? This is AEO Boxing from Adiba, and we're here to talk about Subriel Matias losing to Paro. And I didn't watch this fight live, I was busy watching the Tank vs Frank fight like everyone else, but I was confident that Matias was going to win and stop Paro, which would propel Matias' career onto a new level. I bought into the hype and really believed he was the boogeyman. So much so, he was on two of my parlays Saturday night, but as we all know, Matias lost in his homecoming Puerto Rican fight. And when I heard the news, I was disappointed. Not that I lost my money, which I kinda was salty about, but because I liked Matias as a fighter and a person. I knew that Paro had the ability to upset and win, but other than his win over Montana Love, I was not sure if he could overcome a challenge like Matias. So I took my time to watch this fight today, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed with Paro. He outboxed Matias thoroughly, and it was kind of embarrassing to see Matias lose in that fashion. A boogeyman is not supposed to lose like that. Now everyone is calling him overrated, a bum, and etc. Really shitting on this man. And to a certain extent, I have to agree. Matias was overrated and overhyped, mainly from the Puerto Rican fans, which is understandable. But I think this was a case of styles make fights. I always thought that a boxer who can counterpunch, fight off the back foot, and stick and move would be able to beat Matias. This is why I wanted Teofimo Lopez to fight Matias first. I thought that he had the perfect style to deal with the overwhelming pressure, and it would have been a big fight, a unification between two Latinos, and it would have been a hype fight. But Paro was the guy all along. Paro had the legs and the IQ to outbox Matias for the entire fight. He didn't load up on punches like Ergashev, but rather threw sharp scoring punches that went through and around the guard of Matias. He was boxing off the back foot, using lateral movement, taking angles, and kept turning Matias. Paro never kept his back on the ropes for that long, and whenever Matias did close a distance, Paro was strong enough to push Matias back or would clinch and smother to force a reset, and Paro would catch Matias coming in with the left hands often. But Paro was also not afraid to fight Matias. The times when Matias did get close range and let his hands go, Paro would often return right back, but never stood too long in the pocket, which was a smart idea. He also had the punch resistance to withstand off Matias' power, and was never afraid or intimidated by him. Overall, it was a great performance by Paro. Matias, on the other hand, never made no real adjustments. It looked like he was banking on Paro to eventually fade and crumble, but it never happened. He didn't throw enough punches and allowed Paro to win too many rounds. Furthermore, Matias followed Paro around rather than cutting off the ring, and based off the post-fight interviews from him and his team, Matias did not listen to his corner. I feel bad that he lost in his homecoming fight, but it seemed to me that he looked past Paro completely. For some strange reason, Matias had a lot of energy for Regis Prograis in his build-up for the fight, even though Regis is not a champion. It could also be the nerves and distractions that come with fighting in the hometown. Maybe he wasn't fully focused for this fight. But Paro is now the new IBF champion at 140, which sucks for Matias, but not for Eddie Hearn. Eddie did a lot of promotion for Matias, but Paro is also signed to Matchroom, so Eddie can divert all of his resources to promoting Paro now. Australia has been a huge market for boxing in the last few years, so it should be easy to have a homecoming fight for Paro. Furthermore, Eddie already has Sky Nicholson, Eben Brages, and Jai Opataya, so he could put on a super card in Australia. Richardson Hitchens is the IBF mandatory, so I expect for that fight to happen in the fall. I would favor Hitchens to win because styles make fights, but I will not overlook Paro. And if that fight does not happen, Jack Catterall or Dalton Smith would most likely be the next options. But I do find it interesting that Eddie Hearn is open to a unification with Devin Haney, the WBC champion. Eddie Hearn didn't have the same energy for Haney and Matias unification, but it is what it is. A unification will most likely happen next year because Haney needs to satisfy his WBC mandatory first. But where does Matias go from here? And I don't know. Matias is 32 years old and was avoided by all the top names at 140. He's not getting any younger, and even after losing, I don't see guys rushing to fight Matias now. People are calling him overrated now, but he's still a hard fight for anyone. And he wasn't a lucrative big name, so it may be hard for him to get fights that are worthwhile. But my biggest concern is his shelf life. That pressure style that Matias has does not have longevity. Despite punishing everyone he has faced, Matias has also taken a lot of punishment as well. Fighting like that will burn you out quickly and it takes a lot of toll on your body. Once Matias starts slowing down, he'll be easier to beat. So time is of the essence. The only fight that makes sense for Matias right now is Regis Prograis. Both of these guys don't like each other, they have a history, and from a style standpoint, it will be a great fight. And with both coming off losses to pure boxers, it will be an interesting sink or swim crossroads fight. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing from Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.